So for my fourth reflection, which connects to part 4, what have my students learned and how will I know? This focuses on assessments. And the first couple of pages focuses on standardized tests and how they're everywhere. Not only the state and districts are implementing them, but teachers are too in the classroom. And I think the idea is, the more I expose my students to multiple choice tests or quizzes, the more prepared they're going to be. And I definitely don't agree with that idea, but I think that's why we're seeing multiple choice quizzes, as being summative assessment methods. In Miss Band's class at Rosemead, she definitely does use a lot of multiple choice tests and quizzes. However, she has also used alternative assessments. I did notice when students did participate in alternative assessments, they really did seem to enjoy it. They're able to express their creative side and demonstrate their knowledge. And they just seem more engaged. They saw it as fun and not, boring. And I think that's something to make note of. I think teachers get caught up in, well, if it's not a multiple choice test or quiz, I'm not really challenging the student and it's not a formal assessment. But I think the opposite. I think just the opposite. Another dilemma I was able to relate to was Louisa's dilemma on how to grade. She was seeing her student academically doing okay in class. She was able to help her out. But once it came to the test, she was just not able to demonstrate her knowledge. And this definitely happened to me. I gave a quiz. I told students ahead of time, I said, as long as you review your notes, pay attention, participate in class, you're going to be fine. And once they saw the quiz, which was not multiple choice, it was just 2 questions. All they had to do was write a couple sentences explaining. It's like they panicked, and it's like they forgot everything they had learned. I was completely shocked when grading the quizzes. And this really opened my eyes to like, wow, how do I grade? Do I only give points if the answer's, only correctly answered completely, or if I see, partial responses that are correct, what do I do? And I thought, well, what do you do? I think in the future, I'm going to be a teacher who gives points for partial responses that are correct. I feel if you don't, you're not motivating the students to try. All they're going to think is, well, if I don't give the, completely answer everything to the T, I'm not going to get any points, so why try? So this definitely opened my eyes, and I think I'm going to grade as someone who gives partial credit, not all or nothing type of a grader. Another dilemma that I was able to relate to was Tanya's dilemma. I think this one really opened my eyes because it's tough. Even though she had a student who was doing academically well and able to demonstrate her knowledge, she just wasn't able to meet the deadlines. She has a child at home. She's the sole caretaker. And, in the situation, the teacher, Tanya, just didn't know what to do with her grade because she was just so late on assignments, but yet she was doing like A work. And I thought this was really important to touch on because, what do you do? This is a very realistic scenario that I could, come encounter with. So I thought some options she could have done would have been maybe discuss it with her colleagues or administrator and tell them the situation. This is a special situation that not every student comes encounter with. Or I thought she could have personally taken, the student Miriam aside and set up a plan ahead of time for this big project that was due, and maybe set up an agenda, like a weekly agenda or deadlines of where she had to be, and the teacher could have monitored her that way rather than, pretty much just waiting to the end and just kind of reminding the entire class, the deadline is this, and hoping she turns it in. I think when reading this dilemma, I thought, well, in the future, if you do encounter the situation, I think all you can really do as a teacher is do your best to accommodate students. whether it's they have special needs or they have a child at home or they, have like 2 jobs after school. I think, the answer isn't giving them, leeway. I think the answer is showing them you still need to be responsible and the importance of time management. And I think if you help focus on developing their time management skills, you're helping them all together because they need that in life. So I think that's all you can really do as a teacher is try your best and hope, the students can, succeed with the flexibility and accommodations you're giving them. I think that's all a teacher's job is, really should be.